This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
The storm just came from out of nowhere.
Another chaotic night of storms in the Bi-State, and right now people and businesses are cleaning up after a weekend of severe weather. Strong winds and severe thunderstorms came through the region both Friday and Saturday night, leaving massive damage in its wake. Good evening, I'm Robert Townsend. Mike Bush has the night off. The storm damage is widespread, with the hardest hit areas on the other side of the river in St. Clair, Washington, and Madison counties. But the greater St. Louis area also experienced some serious damage. Collinsville, Illinois sustained damage. The wind tore the roofs off some downtown businesses. Now, the storms also knocked down power lines, and right now parts of the Grove are also still without power, and residents are hearing it could take a week to be restored. We're also learning more about a woman who died in the Grove during last night's storms. Severe weather brought a tree down on top of her car while she was inside of it. Now, police say the woman was 33 years old, but she still has not been identified. Neighbors tell 5 on your side she had just moved into the Grove recently. Our Mercedes McKay has more on this heartbreaking tragedy.
Everybody's kind of shaken.
Despite the sunshine Sunday morning, neighbors along Choteau and Talmadge Avenue are still thinking about Saturday night's weather and the tragedy it brought to their street.
I don't think no one had any idea that it would be as devastating as it were.
Eddie Allen says the storm came out of nowhere.
The rain and the wind began to blow. And a few minutes I heard a boom.
That boom was the tree behind Allen's house falling down. It wasn't until later that he learned the tree fell on top of a car, leading to the death of a 33-year-old woman.
I can imagine, what her, relatives and what have you are going through.
Allen has lived in this home for close to 50 years and says that tree has been a constant concern.
My worry has always been that tree back there.
2 people went to help the woman inside the car as soon as it happened. They said she was responsive and talking to them while they frantically called 911.
My understanding is that they sat there with her for like at least 30 to 40 minutes and she was still alive, and then until she was not.
Tatiana Tolnikova owns the Handlebar in the Grove neighborhood. She says one of her employees and another business owner tried to save the woman.
He just couldn't sleep all night, and I mean, it makes sense, like watching a life just waste away like this out of nowhere.
While most of the area is at a loss for words, many are trying to wrap their heads around just how short life can be.
I think the lesson I've learned from this is again and again is just like appreciate every day you have on this earth, because you never know when it's going to be the last one.
In St. Louis, Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
St. Louis's Department of Public Safety told 5 on your side in a statement they are, quote, investigating the circumstances that led up to this incident. Now, you can read the full statement on our website, ksdk.com, under the As Seen on TV section. We are learning of even more serious storm damage in the region. North St. Louis sustained some damage in multiple areas. Downed power lines and debris can be seen across the area. One bar near the riverfront was especially hit hard. Some people were inside KJ's bar in North City enjoying karaoke night when the storm hit. Now, the owner describes the severe weather as something he has never seen before.
I got everybody down in the basement. Nobody got hurt. A couple of car windows got busted out because it was, the wind was actually blowing sideways. It wasn't blowing down. You just see the rain hitting the building to the side.
Recovering the damage to KJ's bar could take some time, but the owner says he is grateful no one was injured. The last 2 nights of storms were classified as severe thunderstorms, but the damage in many of our areas resembled damage people say looked like tornadoes. Weather First meteorologist Gary Frank joins us now. Hey Gary, these weren't just your normal rain showers. So can you walk us through why these storms were actually so damaging?
Yeah, good evening, Robert, and good to see you. For the most part, we've been under these severe thunderstorm watches, warnings. What does that mean? A lot of the times we see them fairly often, but I want to point out specifically what some of this means, because as you look at what's going on here, that's what we had seen over the last couple of days. I want to take you to the big picture and show you just how the storm set up. This big area, this spin, that's the storm that brought a little bit of wind and pressure gradient, and it carried wind that was just a couple of thousand feet above the surface. And as that interacted with the current ingredients of the day, that's where we started to see that develop. And I want to show you what this looks like from a different perspective and now switch to the radar, because that's the key for us here. As we look at some of the storm, the way we started off, look at the way we started off over the last 36 hours, because we have one line and then another line yesterday afternoon. This was 2 or 3 o'clock. And look how it starts to form this line specifically just right about here. And that's where I want to show you this line right about here. When they start to bow out like that, they typically carry a lot of wind and they're moving very quickly, the wind aloft and not only at the surface. And that's where you'll start to see those brief wind gusts here. And that's what we saw here into the afternoon that created some of the storm damage that was, pretty significant in some cases. So as we looked at some of the storm reports, just looking at a few of these areas, we had roughly trees down, lots of branches snapped. That wind really was carried from these storms that move very quickly. And right now it's quiet in some regard, but others are still dealing with a little bit of rain. You've probably seen the severe thunderstorm watch pop up. Most of that is not going to impact our area, and I think really our area is out of that the rest of the night. We will track a little bit more rain in our next severe threat by the middle part of the week as we discuss that in more active pattern the rest of the week.
All right, Gary, thanks. We'll see you in a bit. As we mentioned earlier, much of the Grove is currently without power, but that South City neighborhood is not the only part of our area in the dark right now. We are hearing reports of power outages across the bi-state. Communities in Nashville, Illinois, tell 5 on your side that they could be without power, get this, for days. Right now, we are working to learn more about Ameren's efforts to get the power back to these communities. Ameren, Illinois has an update on power outages in central and southern Illinois. 56,000 customers are still without power, though. Ameren, Missouri also sharing an update. Right now, 79,000 customers in Missouri are still without power. Ameren says they are actively working to restore power to areas across the St. Louis region. They did not give a specific timeline on when power will be restored. They did, however, say additional crews are on their way from surrounding states. Now, if you were impacted by the severe weather, we have made it easier to find resources in your area. Just text the word resources to 314-425-5355, and we will send a link of information and resources straight to your phone. A block party turns deadly. What we know about a mass shooting in Baltimore that killed 2 people and sent dozens more to the hospital. It's been more than 100 years since Metro East race riots turned into a massacre, the way the city of East St. Louis is now honoring the lives lost.
Get the content that matters to you on your time. Breaking news as it happens.
We are following breaking news at this hour.
Weather alerts when you need them. Live streams and newscasts on your schedule. On air, online, on our app, and on 5+. No matter where you go or how you watch, 5 on your side, focused on you.
What's the forecast in Florida?
What's it like in Belleville?
No matter where you are.
What's the forecast in St. Peter's?
Or how you get your weather.
We know you want the forecast for your backyard. And you want it now.
Right here and right now.
The 5 on your side, Weather First team. Focused on you.
Most people think this is St. Louis, but we know better. It's our neighborhoods, our people, and that's our focus. Because no story is bigger than the one that affects you. 5 on your side, focused on you.
An investigation is underway in South Baltimore, Maryland, following a horrific mass shooting early Sunday morning. An 18-year-old woman and 20-year-old man were killed and 28 others injured during an annual neighborhood block party. Right now, 3 of those victims remain in critical condition. Shelly Mulashi, has the latest.
All of Baltimore is grieving the lives that we lost here, and our hearts are with all those who are still recovering at the result of this mass shooting.
Tragedy strikes this 4th of July weekend in South Baltimore, Maryland.
I want those who are responsible to hear me very clearly. We will not stop until we find you.
An annual block party to celebrate the city's Brooklyn neighborhood ends with gunshots and dozens of people running for their lives.
Our hearts and prayers are going out to the families, sending out to the families and friends of these victims, as well as the community and our entire city. This is an extensive crime scene. Our detectives are going to be here quite a while. If anyone saw anything or knows anything, please call 911.
According to police, 9 victims were transported to area hospitals, and at least 20 other victims walked into hospitals in the area. Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott is outraged and described the incident as a reckless, cowardly act.
It also highlights again the real need to deal with guns and illegal guns and access to them, not just in Baltimore City, but across this country.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore releasing this statement. My heart breaks for these victims, their families, and the Baltimore community that is coping with the loss. Right now, Baltimore investigators are working to find a suspect or suspects, along with a motive for the shooting. I'm Shelley Malashi reporting.
This weekend, East St. Louis is honoring those killed in the 1917 race massacre. Yesterday, the Reparations Now March took place in East St. Louis. Residents and community leaders marched in memory of those who were killed in those race riots. Now, one local organizer said the march was also the kickoff to their reparations committee for the city. And today, a dedication took place in East St. Louis. The East St. Louis Historical Society and the Illinois State Historical Society came together to create a marker for the 1917 race massacre. Now, it honors the lives of the hundreds of Black Americans brutalized by white rioters in the early 1900s. A crack in a cold case, the exclusive new details and possible new lead to 40 years after a girl found beheaded in a basement.
Most people think this is St. Louis, but we know better. The real St. Louis isn't a postcard. It's our neighborhoods, our communities, our people, and that's our focus. 5 on Your Side is here to tell the stories that affect your neighborhood, that impact your family, that matter to you. Because no story is bigger than the one that affects you. 5 on Your Side, focused on you. Hey, St. Louis. It's time to step up and join the mission to end breast cancer. The 2023 Komen Greater St. Louis More Than Pink Walk is set for Saturday, June 10th in Tower Grove Park. Join 5 on Your Side in celebrating 25 years of impact right here in your community. You can walk or team up with family and friends. Log on to komen.org/St. Louis Walk to register today.
What's the forecast in Florida?
What's it like in Belleville?
No matter where you are.
What's the forecast in St. Peter's?
Or how you get your weather.
We know you want the forecast for your backyard. And you want it now.
Right here and right now.
The 5 on Your Side Weather First team, focused on you.
5 on Your Side has exclusive new details about a potential lead in a case that has haunted St. Louis detectives for 40 years. Now it involves the body of a little girl who was found beheaded in the basement of a vacant building. She remains unidentified, and so does her killer. Our Christine Byers explains why homicide detectives are excited about a social media post and how it could finally unlock the answers they've been searching for all this time. Now, we want to warn you, some of the details and images in this story could be disturbing for some viewers.
You know, on the surface, there certainly seems to be information in that post.
We caught up with St. Louis Police Sergeant Charlie Wall at the vacant lot where this apartment building once stood in the 5600 block of Clemens Avenue. It was vacant on February 28, 1983, when 2 men told police they went in hoping to find something to fix their car. Instead, they made a grisly discovery when they flicked on a cigarette lighter in the dark basement. The decapitated body of a little girl lying on her stomach.
A cold case of this magnitude, I think, at various points over the years, it's received some national attention.
Yes. She was naked from the waist down, wearing only this bloody yellow V-neck sweater. This red and white rope bound her hands behind her back. Her nails were painted red, but sloppy, like any child painting their own nails would do.
It's unimaginable.
And it proved impossible to solve.
Anybody that had anything to do with this case in its early days was doing everything in their power to try to solve it at that point in time. And here we are, this many years later.
10 years ago, police exhumed her remains to do further DNA testing. They've combed through multiple databases that have led to breaks and other seemingly unsolvable cold cases across the country. Nothing has ever clicked in this case. Then, just 1 month ago, this post titled "Trying to Find Missing Sister" by a poster named Finding Janetta on the website Reddit popped up. In it, the author writes she and her older sister had different fathers and lived with their maternal grandmother after their mother went to jail in 1981. The poster says she remembers her sister's father picking her up just after New Year's in 1983 and never letting her or her mother ever see her again. The remains of the little girl, who has become known as Little Jane Doe, were found about a month later. Other specific details from the post include a birth date of May 15, 1973, which would have made her 9 years old at the time she last saw her sister, and within the 8 to 12-year-old age range forensic experts believe the remains fall. A possible name, Janetta Brooks. References to the little girl's father having ties to Terre Haute, Indiana, and St. Louis. Relatives of the child's father confirming that they haven't seen the child since Valentine's Day in 1983 either.
The level of detail that is contained within this post, there seems to be a fair amount of information that could potentially fit with the information that investigators already know.
But whoever Finding Janetta is has gone dark. 5 on Your Side posted a comment asking the author to respond. We haven't heard back, and neither have the police.
You know, we have to hold out hope that there's somebody that knows something, somebody that maybe, you know, just saw a child walking down the street around that time, February 28th of 1983. A little girl in a yellow sweater.
Christine Byers, 5 on Your Side.
We have posted the entire Reddit post on KSDK.com. Now, if you have any information on the case, call St. Louis Police at 314-444-5731. Or if you'd like to remain anonymous, Crime Stoppers can be reached at 866-371-TIPS. With the holidays just a couple of days away, 4th of July celebrations are happening across the St. Louis area, and first responders are asking you to be cautious with fireworks. In fact, the St. Louis Fire Chief tells us he hopes you will leave the fireworks up to the professionals. Also, fireworks are illegal in St. Louis City and St. Louis County. Fireworks are permitted with restrictions in Franklin, Jefferson, and St. Charles counties, but they are not permitted in the city of St. Peters. And most fireworks are illegal in the state of Illinois. This weekend, storms also canceled or postponed some 4th of July events. To find out about cancellations and to find other professional fireworks shows happening in the coming days, just text the word fireworks to 314-425-5355 and we will send you a list. Now, as we've been talking about this weekend's severe weather, how it left many people without power, it's still a little cool today, but Gary, it's going to be another hot week to not have air conditioning, right?
Yeah, it will. And, you know, it's not going to be as hot. We're not going to push that 100-degree mark that a lot of us saw ahead of those storms, which that was all part of the everything that kind of built up to what we had. And then you add some of the other atmospheric dynamics that all mesh together, and you see them really at play in the afternoon each day. As we continue to have that lift, that storm system that impacts us, we still have a few dragging showers that are those puffy cumulus clouds where it's sunny one moment and a few minutes later it rains. And that's what we're looking at in St. Charles. And you'll see that not only dragging a line through the city, but also through St. Charles at times. And I think we're still not done with that. We probably still have another 3 to 4 hours that's going to impact us. I want to zoom in on a few spots like St. Clair, Sullivan, Oak Hill, Union, Gray Summit, some light rain as well, even to the north from Carrollton and Richwood. We still see a few of these showers. Not severe. They will provide some brief bursts of heavy rain that send you inside for 15 minutes and they move on. That's the way this is setting up for the next couple of hours. And as a result, our temperatures are cooler depending depending on where we've seen more of that rain. We're at 76 in Lake St. Louis, a very murky Lake St. Louis, I might add, 83 in Cahokia Heights. So there's spots that haven't seen all that rain. And I think that over the next couple of hours, we'll continue to see a few of those showers that get out of here, and then eventually overnight that ends. And, I think for the most part, we're going to see maybe a little patchy fog, but it should dry out as we continue to see our temps fall into the upper 60s with our sunset at around 8:30 still. Now, our severe weather risk down the road, this is typically not, July is not really a severe weather season as we see it, but we have started to see a few of these patterns set up. And once again, we have been targeted with a risk on the fourth day. That means you're going to see just this one color of 15% chance, but it's really wide. It's all the way from southern Missouri all the way past Chicago, and that is because of fronts moving in, heat and humidity and some other things that are starting to settle in. That includes a big chunk of our area right now. I think down the road, you'll see it into a slight or enhanced on 2 or 3. That's from 3 of 5 category from the Storm Prediction Center. And here's how this looks like it may play out. Late in the day on Wednesday, I want you to be prepared for, as this front moves through, storms develop along that. This could be another wind risk. So we'll see how this plays out. That's going to add into at least helping us when it comes to the drought. As far as right now is concerned, next few days, dry for Monday. A lot of people obviously connected this long holiday weekend. An isolated storm chance for the holiday, a few storms on Wednesday. That's the targeted day for our next severe threat. And then I think Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we'll start to see a better chance as well over the next few days.
Thanks a lot, Gary. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on that, especially the 4th of July forecast. Thanks a lot. We'll check back with you. Mosquitoes are everywhere this time of the year, and sometimes those bug bites can be dangerous. Our Verified team breaks down the types of mosquito bites and how you can protect yourself.
I'm Weather First meteorologist Tracy Hinson, and you're probably used to seeing me here every weekend with your latest forecast. But ever wonder what I do when the cameras are off?
I might just be headed to a school or youth group in your area. I show kids at all grade levels the power of science.
Look, we made a cloud. We talk safety and demystify the most terrifying of weather phenomena.
Getting students excited about science, technology, engineering, and math is incredibly rewarding. But the best part of all is knowing that the next 5 on your side meteorologists might just be in one of our classrooms, and I can't wait to meet them.
Hey, St. Louis. It's time to step up and join the mission to end breast cancer. The 2023 Komen Greater St. Louis More Than Pink Walk is set for Saturday, June 10th in Tower Grove Park. Join 5 on your side in celebrating 25 years of impact right here in your community. You can walk or team up with family and friends. Log on to komen.org/St. Louis Walk to register today. Get the content that matters to you on your time. Breaking news as it happens. Weather alerts when you need them. On air, online, on our app, and on 5+. No matter how you watch, 5 on your side, focused on you.
Mosquito season is underway in most of the United States. Here's Verified's Adrienne Dattel with 3 facts about these pesky insects and tips on how to keep them away.
There are few things I hate more than dodging mosquitoes when I'm trying to enjoy the summer sun. And there are a lot of them. More than 200 types of mosquitoes live in the U.S. and its territories, and 12 of them can carry diseases that make people sick, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Using these sources, we put together 3 facts about these buggers and tips on how to make yourself less of a target. Fact 1. Mosquitoes are the deadliest animals on Earth. While they don't maul, poison, or drown people like some other predators, mosquitoes do carry diseases like malaria, dengue fever, and Zika virus that kill an estimated 700,000 people per year worldwide, according to the CDC and the World Health Organization. While cases of those diseases are rare in the U.S., your best bet to protect yourself is to avoid getting bitten. Our tip? Use an EPA-registered insect repellent with active ingredients, such as DEET, picaridin, or oil of lemon eucalyptus. When you're inside, let's keep those buggers out by using screens on windows and doors, or using air conditioning if available. Fact 2. Mosquitoes are attracted to certain colors. Black, orange, and red are their favorite. According to Jeff Riffle, a biology professor at the University of Washington, when mosquitoes see red and orange, they associate that with human skin color. He says no matter what your skin tone or how dark or light you are, we are dominantly reflecting orange and red. So when you're wearing a red or orange shirt, you've made yourself a bigger target. When mosquitoes see black clothes, they think they found a shaded spot to rest. And then, our tip, avoid wearing black, red, and orange. Instead, opt for light-colored, loose-fitting clothing with long sleeves and pants. Fact 3. Mosquitoes are more attracted to a specific blood type. There are 4 major blood groups, A, B, AB, and O.
Folks with O-type blood tend to be preferred hosts for mosquitoes, and those who are type A are least preferred among the blood types.
In addition to having type O blood, there are other factors that can attract mosquitoes, including sweating, drinking alcohol, and higher body temperatures. Our tip? While you can't change your blood type, you can change what you do while you're outside. So, limit alcohol consumption and excessive sweating as much as possible. We have even more facts about mosquitoes and tips to keep them away on our website. Just scan this QR code to read the article. With your Verify and a renewed hope that I won't be covered in bug bites this summer, I'm Ariande Till.
So what can we verify for you? Send us an email to verify@ksdk.com. And meteorologist Gary Frank joins me now again with one final look at the weather. So
yeah, still dodging off and on rain here and there. You'll see that by sunset, off and on rain. You'll see these widely scattered showers. Just know that if you're out and about this evening, we'll run into that. I think any severe threat is way out of our area. You'll see some of those deeper shades of red close to Carbondale. That's still running across your screen off and on throughout tonight. But for the most part, we'll continue to stay relatively dry with 10 to 15-minute breaks in the rain.
All right, Gary, thanks a lot. A lot of folks will definitely be watching and paying attention. All right, that's all for us at 5 on your side at 5. Thanks for tuning in, and we will be right back here for the broadcast and 5 on your side at Plus tonight at 10. Have a great day, everybody.